Hi, welcome to Math Beast Tutoring, now on YouTube. Hi, thanks for coming back. This video is a continuation from part 1, which is grades about 3 years old, up to grades 2, 3, or 4, depending on your student and how advanced they are. This video is for the manipulatives that I like to use for about grades 4 to up to about 7. Now, of course, I mentioned the dice. I have some dice that go up higher. So I have this one that goes up to 20, and then of course the fraction dice, as I mentioned in the other video. I like to have students add together 2-digit numbers. So using the 12-sided and the 20-sided, these are great for helping students mentally add 2-digit numbers. It's really helpful for them to practice breaking up numbers into digits that are easier for them to add mentally in their brains. Another tool that is helpful is cards, decks of cards. Now these cards actually come from a game that's called Absolute Zero. This deck is amazing. It has negative cards and positive cards. These are helpful for adding, subtracting, draw 2 cards. In addition, is helping them see the negative numbers versus the positive numbers, and how this one is 11 away from 0 to the left, and this one is 11 away from 0 to the positive. But also, you have 11 minus 11, and that equals 0. So it's helpful to pull out the zeros and notice how zeros are helpful. And of course, it doesn't have to be the negative 11. You can go 6 plus 3, that's 9, and then here is the negative 9. And these cards also make 0 as well. So if you don't have the Absolute Zero game, it's on Amazon. I don't remember how much it was, but you don't need that, because just taking a standard deck, this one is great for students. The only thing is you'll need to assign values. You can either assign just 10 for all the face cards, or you can of course go 11 for Jack, 12 for Queen, and 13 for King, and of course the 1 for Ace. That's helpful. These are helpful also if you're working with a student that's not quite used to negative numbers. As you can see, the red cards, there's no negative sign, so you can just ignore the colors. And then as your student is getting up into our working with negative numbers and integers, positive and negative, then you can say, well, the red cards are negative. So in this case, I have 9 minus 7, or 5 minus 7, in which case the result is going to get you down into the negative numbers. So it's helpful for practicing that as well. I like to use these for students who are just learning the rules for integers. That's the positive and negative numbers. For multiplication as well, say we have 7 times 5, 1 negative and 1 positive. Well, the rule for multiplication of positive and negative numbers is if they are different signs, negative and positive, then the answer is going to be negative, but we'll just multiply them like normal. 7 times 5 is 35. One of them is negative, so the entire answer is negative. And similarly, if we had 2 negatives, since we have 2 of the same sign, we multiply the numbers like normal, but the answer is positive because we have the same sign. And that's helpful for students that are practicing the 4 basic functions with integers. And the word integers, again, is just positive and negative numbers. All right, I mentioned dice. These kinds of dice you kind of get from like a teacher store, but for Dungeons and Dragons fans, you can use the same exact kind of dice for Dungeons and Dragons. As you can see, there's this triangle. That's the 1 through 4. This one I really like. This is a tens dice. It goes 0 to 90 by tens. Then of course there's the 1 through 8 dice, and then again the 1 through 12, and then there's a 1 through 20 as well. So these are great. Also, these ones though, if you're in a place that doesn't really want a lot of loud noises, these are loud when you roll these on the table. So be aware of that. And for students learning fractions, I also like some sort of manipulative tool. Now I have two different styles. These ones are magnetic, but they're individual. You can pull apart as many as you want. These are super helpful for seeing equivalent fractions. So as you can see, this 1/2 is the same size as the 2/4, or the 3/6, the 4/8, etc. You can kind of pull these apart, and as you notice, all of these that are up against the edge of the board, they end at the same spot in here, and then those are the multiple ways that you can do equivalent fractions. So there's this style. This is a lot of pieces, and they're magnetic, so it's helpful if you have a magnetic board. This thing is just a whiteboard. It's kind of like this little one, but of course it's bigger. Or some sort of flip book that has the same thing. 1/2. Am I holding it upside down? Yes, I am. 1/2, and then you can compare those with the 4ths, the 5ths, 6ths, etc. This is also a great tool as well that I like to use. And you can make this. You can go on the computer and make this. You can draw it out on a plain sheet of paper. Make sure that if you're drawing it, you're going to use some sort of measuring device so that we have accuracy. Ruler. Yeah. Another tool for older students is a protractor and compass. You guys know what these are for. It's good to have them on hand for students that are just starting to learn angles, and then of course the compass just for drawing perfect circles. All right, for about grade 7 to 8. Now, parents, let's talk calculators. When your students start to solve problems that require 2 or more steps, or they are learning problems that are a process, for example, long division, or word problems that require more than one step, or even getting up into the algebra, I recommend we introduce the scientific calculator right around this level. Now this is a Texas Instrument. This is a 30. This one is a good calculator to introduce as the first scientific calculator. Now, because we don't want our students to rely on the calculator for their basic arithmetic, this is a tool to check their work and not to cheat. As just a little bit of a hint into helping them through the process that they're trying to learn. At this age, learning to work through the process is a little bit more important than doing arithmetic by hand. Like I say in some of my other videos, up to a certain age, up to a certain level, we earn our assistant. That being said, if a student starts to become more dependent on a calculator, dependent for things, easy things like 4 + 5, 7 divided by 3, 6 divided by 2, things like that, then we will want to back off the calculator just a little bit to get their arithmetic back up to speed, because if you do not use it, you will lose it. Alright, that concludes this video for about grades 3 to 4 up to 7 or 8. Tune in next time for excellent high school tools, high school mathematics assistance versus other tools that we can see online that are very helpful for students in those grade levels to work through their studies. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. Remember to like, share, subscribe, etc. I will see you next time. In the meantime, stay safe, stay inside, I guess. Get your exercise, get your sleep, don't eat too much. Remember, you're probably not hungry, you're just bored. And use this extra time to learn a new skill, take time with your family, and make the best of it. See ya.